So, how long does it take to create a character in Tales of the Burnstones? Let's find out together in just a second. Hello, everybody, and thank you all for joining us on Hastings County here as we take a look at Tales of the Burnstones. This is the essentially younger sibling to RPD's uh, Stoneburner. That one in particular is a sort of sci-fi futuristic game where you play dwarves rebuilding your long-lost home in an asteroid mine. This is sort of the prequel. Think of it as being set in the far past of that particular universe, where you instead you are essentially you have been resurrected after a absolute disaster, where a mountain on your planet has basically been turned into a volcanic portal to hell. One thing that is very important, not only about Stoneburner, but also this one, is how easy it is to create a character. And just to prove that, I wanted to create this video where we could very quickly show exactly how long it takes to create a character. Now, one thing that will definitely be helping us today is the Stoneburner character keeper that was created to go along with this game that you can find on the itch store page, linked onto Google Sheets. So this is going to be helping us a lot. We are going to be utilizing this. Dice are here in the dice tray next to me just to make things a bit simpler and easier and quicker when it comes to the rolling, since I don't have to fiddle with stuff up here. All right, now here we are. We are on the appropriate page. The basic assumption here is going to be that basically you are a player who has never been introduced to this game before. You have no idea what's going on, and basically you're being thrown into this game in the next 10 minutes, and now you have to make a character and you need to do it now. So here we go. The first thing that you are going to need to do, this is obviously write your name over here, which I've already done. The next thing would be that normally you would, in an unusual way, this game actually has you start off by deciding what your resilience is going to be. Resilience essentially operates as this game's hit points. We are going to be going on the bog standard 1d4 plus 2. That on the character keeper is down here. And I rolled a 2, so we are going to go ahead and change that to 4. So that means essentially we have 4 hit points. So we're now going to go back up to the top, because the next thing, oh no, sorry, we need to stay down here. The next thing we need to do is we need to use our d4 again to decide how many coins we have. Now this seems a bit out, again, this seems a bit out of order. It seems unusual to roll coins, which essentially are your currency, right? They're your bog standard gold pieces. But it makes it a bit easier to get this out of the way, so that you can focus more on character building later on. And I rolled a 3, so that means we get 300 gold pieces to potentially play around with later once we actually start the game itself. Now we come to the actual character building elements of our game. The first thing we need to do is we need to determine our heritage. Now, as far as I can tell, heritage, essentially this is more just story building, cultural origins, and stuff like that. It does not actually have an effect on any of your stats and stuff. This is more for roleplay and world building. So we have a d6 here. We can roll any of these 6, or we could just make one up. I'm going to go ahead and just roll to make this quick. I rolled a 6, so we are going to be an elf. Alrighty. Now, the next bit, this is actually going to be our first bit of what you probably where you would have started if you were making, let's say, one of the Dragon game characters or something like that. And that is you would be starting with a background. These essentially are similar to classes. There are 8 of them that correspond pretty closely to a number of classes in familiar games. Some of the names are exactly the same, like the sorcerer, the druid, the alchemists. Some of them are a bit different. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and roll, and I rolled a 6, so that means we are going to be a scoundrel, which is described as being sly and stealthy. Now, on our next one, it says we have 3 skills. So down here, this game is built on the Breathless system, so that means that we do not necessarily have attributes like you might expect in some games. Instead, here we have 3 basic skills that we're going to be, they're essentially like means of doing things. Um, Sorry, I misread this. To determine your initial ratings, roll a d4, d6, or d8 on a flat surface. The die that is furthest away from you is strength. The die that is closest to you is willpower, and the remaining one is your dexterity. So dexterity is in the middle, and then you can swap 2 if you wish. All right. So I went ahead and just rolled that again since I clearly messed that up. Okay, so the one closest to me is willpower. That would be a d8. The one furthest away from me is strength. That would be a d6. The one closest to me, the one in the middle, is the Okay, that obviously isn't going to work. I'm going to switch strength and dexterity for this scoundrel. There we go. We'll put it here. The next thing we need to roll is our weapon. This is going to be a single d6 item. This is a lasting item, which means it will not degrade to the point where we basically lose it or it becomes insignificant to the fiction of the game. Other items that we find throughout the game will probably be most of the other items that we'll find throughout the game are going to be items that will degrade as we use them, just like our skills degrade as we use them, and then aren't rechargeable essentially when we do a rest. So over here we have light weapons and heavy weapons. We need to roll a d10 for it. I'm going to roll on the light weapons thing since we're a scoundrel, and I rolled a 9, which means we have a light hammer. All right, and again, that is a d6 item. All right, now we need to pick an ability. So for that, we need to real quick flip over to our skill. Okay, here we are. All right. So the scoundrel gets 3 abilities. Our first one is liar, which costs 0. It says when you lie to someone, you may immediately roll with a good position. Our second one is trespasser, which says if you, whoops, it says if you're sneaking somewhere you should not be, you may immediately roll with an excellent position. Costs 1 step. And the last one is killer. Whoops, there we go. Killer says you may instantly try to kill someone provided they do not know where you are, aren't too big of an opposition, and you have real opportunity. Roll a d10. On a 1 or 2, you hurt them, but they're still alive, and your position is compromised. On a 3 or 4, you kill them, but your location is compromised. And on a 5 or plus, you kill them, and then you sneak back into the shadows. So basically, like, this is your backstab. I'm going to go with, based on the fact that I have my highest thing in willpower, I'm going to go with liar. Okay. The next thing we need to do is we need to pick pronouns and presumably a name. So let's call our elf scoundrel, who lies a lot, Linus, just because. And let's say they are he, him. All right. Now, that's actually all we really need. Oh, and we should have our grit. We haven't used that yet. That's pretty much all we need at this stage. Yep, that means our character is practically done already. However, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some rolling here on the rolling tables here to determine some extra stuff about our elfin scoundrel. All right, so real quick, I just rolled on these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tables and came up with this quite detailed description for Linus. That only took me about 2 minutes. So far, I'll just go ahead and read this for you. It says robust and muscular with a broad and flat head. Linus wears their hair in a top knot and has a notable scar on the side of their neck. He comes from an upper middle class background. Uh, Linus generally appears to behave in a humble fashion, but can be pessimistic. They are most often motivated to act by freedom. And that is pretty much that. Thank you all for joining me again here today on Hessens County while we created a character for Tales of the Burnstones just to see exactly how quick this process can be. Again, this is something you definitely could do just sitting down real quick, not really knowing a whole lot about the game, and just roll up a character and just 5 or 10 minutes completely from random and build out some of those details as you play, or of course you could get them all down right now. Um, Links to Tales of the Burnstones and the character keeper. All of that stuff is found on the itch page, so a link to that will be found down below, along with a link to the specific page for Tales of the Burnstone on TTRPG, which is RPDS's website, which yeah, that'll be included as well. Thank you all for joining us again here today on Hess County. And don't forget to rate your itch purchases like this one. If you would like to show your support for this channel or for the Hessens County blog, in the description down below, you will find links to the channel coffee and also the itch store. Please feel free to take a look, and thank you for your support.